Gretchen, I know here in LA, I'm sure in New York, and all over the country, everybody's interested in making additional income. We are all about the hustle, and it can be very time intensive to try to do that. But a great way to do it is to Airbnb your home. If you have a big trip coming up, I know for me, I travel a lot for work, as do many people I know. You could Airbnb your home and make extra money.
Yeah, it's great for somebody who's frequently traveling, who has extra space, maybe a seasonal home, always goes away at the same time of year for like a work event or a family tradition. And it's just a practical way to earn extra money. You can Airbnb your home and get that side money. Your home might be worth more than you think. Find out how much at airbnb.com/host.
You know how sometimes a meal leaves you energized and other times sluggish, foggy, or even hungrier? That may be your glucose talking. Foods that are sugar and carb heavy, and you know my experience here, cause your body's glucose levels to spike, often followed by a crash. This matters because it turns out 88% of us have suboptimal metabolic health. So glucose could be the next big thing to track when it comes to health. That's why we're excited about Lingo, a new biowearable from Abbott that tracks your glucose in real time.
I've been wearing Lingo for weeks now, and I've learned that for my body, if I move around after I eat a meal, my spike is much more gradual, much lower. And so I've learned that I just need to get up and move around after I eat. What works for me might work very differently for you, but that's what works for my body. To see how your body responds to food and learn what you can do to improve your metabolism, try Lingo. It starts at $49 for a 2-week plan, no prescription needed. For a limited time, save 10% on your first order with Happier at HelloLingo.com.
The Lingo glucose system is for users 18 years and older, not on insulin. It is not intended for diagnosis of diseases, including diabetes. For more information, please visit HelloLingo.com/US.
Hello and welcome to Happier, a podcast where we talk about ideas for making our lives happier, healthier, more productive, and more creative. This week, we will review our 24 for 24 list. I'm Gretchen Rubin, a writer who studies happiness, good habits, secrets of adulthood, human nature. I'm in my little home office in New York City, and joining me today from Los Angeles is my sister Elizabeth Kraft. And Elizabeth, you and I had a couple crossover items on our 24 for 24 list this year.
Yes, we did, Gretch. That's me, Elizabeth Kraft, a TV writer and producer living in LA. And Gretch, I can't wait to see how we did on our lists.
Yes. But before we jump in, an update from a listener.
Yeah, Gretchen, this comes from Flick on Kangaroo Island, South Australia.
The kangaroos are popping up, Elizabeth,
Yes.
for you now that you've declared.
Yes. Flick says, I started listening in 2020 on the recommendation of my sister. I'm slowly catching up and am currently listening to episode 327, where Gretchen is seeking listener advice on sun protection. Given your love for rhymes, I think you'll appreciate this long-standing Australian mnemonic from the Cancer Council. Slip, slop, slap. Slip on a shirt, slop on some sunscreen, and slap on a hat. Because the skin cancer risk is so high for people in the Australian sun, this educational campaign has become part of the vernacular of almost every Australian.
I love that. Slip, slop,
Yes.
slap.
Yes.
Really flows off the tongue. Just a reminder, the holidays are approaching fast, and so you need to order as soon as possible if you want to order any products from the Happiness Project shop. If you want to get them in time, expedited shipping cuts off on December 17th. So if you want new journals, products, the drinkware, podcast merch for yourself or for other people, go to happiercast.com/shop and do it fast because shipping takes time.
Yes, especially right now.
Especially right now. And now this week's Try This at Home is to review your 24 for 24 list and make your 25 for 25 list. And so in episode 463, we revealed this list. And then in episode 515, coming up in the new year, we will reveal our own 25 for 25 lists. But now we're going to talk about the 24 for 24 lists.
Yes. And Gretchen, as people think about making their new lists, what are some tips?
Yeah, so here are some things that we've done throughout the years that have made it fun. And I wrote a whole post about this, so I'll post a link to that in the show notes about tips for making a list. But some things that work well for us, like one is we try to have fun with a number, like 25 new hikes, or you could meditate for 2 to 5 minutes, things like that.
Yes. And then being concrete and framing items as actions, not outcomes. Now, this is something you have really discovered over the years.
Right. So you don't want to make something like become a more adventurous cook. That's an outcome, and it's also pretty vague. Something like try 25 new recipes, because that's something very specific. You're having fun with 25. You can cross it off, and that will make you a more adventurous cook. So you want to think about the action that you will take, not the outcome you will achieve. Elizabeth, you and I have never really done much, but some people really have fun with it, is using categories like family, friends, work, spiritual, nature, adventure, whatever it might be. 25 lends itself so nicely to 5 categories. I could imagine that people would like to do that. We never really do that, but a lot of people like to organize their list that way.
Yes. And then think about fun and whimsy. Again, this is not a list of onerous, awful things that you have to do in 2025. You can have all little fun things.
Yes.
You can have a few big things and a lot of fun things. You can have whatever you want. This is a list of things you want to do.
Another thing that some people do is they'll have it all around the single theme. I think this is particularly helpful if people are trying to think through something huge, like moving to a new city, where there might be multiple things that they want to pursue. Or it could be something like adventure, and you're thinking, how can I have lots of big and little adventures as part of my life? Again, that might tie into your one-word theme. You could make it all whimsical. It's just this idea, too, that you can, I think you and I both like to have a big range, a big wild mix, but some people like to really give it one flavor.
Another good idea is to consider your tendency.
Yeah, as you're thinking about your list, take your tendency into account. We won't go into that here, but if you want to learn about the tendencies, go to GretchenRubin.com/quiz. Find out if you're an upholder, questioner, obliger, rebel, and think about it for your tendency. So, for instance, a rebel might not want to sign up for a class because rebels often don't like to feel trapped in the calendar. Or if you're an obliger, you might want to build in accountability for something like reading 25 novels by the end of the year because obligers need outer accountability. Or if you're an upholder like me, you might want to think about, okay, where is that going to slot into the calendar? Because for upholders, they really love to have things on the calendar. Obligers often do too. So taking your tendency into account can help you think about following through.
And then, Gretchen, learn from last year's list as you plan this year's list.
Yeah, I'm trying to do this, Elizabeth. I learned some lessons from which we will get into later in the episode.
That's how we learn that we need to do action items as opposed to outcomes, for instance.
Yeah. So if you're excited about doing your own list and you want sort of a nice place to put them all, if you go to happiercast.com/designyouryear, you can print out your own list. This is one of the Design Your Year tools. That's the 25 for 25 list, the annual challenge, which we will reveal, and also the one-word theme. That's kind of a trifecta of tools for Design Your Year. And so, that PDF at happiercast.com/designyouryear will be a nice place to put it so that it's all very organized.
And one final thing, as a morale booster, make a to-do list. For instance, Gretchen, you got a new house, which was not on your list. You hosted Thanksgiving, which was not on your list. These are huge things you accomplished.
That's right. And I want that gold star. I want to feel like I checked it off some list. So like you make a list of things done that I didn't even anticipate. Right. Giving ourselves credit for things helps us have the energy to keep going.
All right, Gretchen, coming up, I will reveal how I did on my 24 items. But first, this break. It's great when you can get someone a gift they wouldn't necessarily get for themselves, that little bit of luxury that they don't know they're missing. For quality gifts at an affordable price, my go-to is Quince. Gretchen, my favorite gift to get and give from Quince is their Mongolian cashmere sweaters. I love all the colors. I got a red one to wear at Christmas this year, and I very well will give one to somebody else.
And those start at $50. Or for the ultimate year-round gifts, check out their 14-karat gold jewelry, Italian leather handbags, and European linen sheet sets. Gift luxury this holiday season without the luxury price tag. Go to quince.com/Gretchen for 365-day returns, plus free shipping on your order. That's QUINCE.com/Gretchen to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Gretchen. Okay, Elizabeth, we're back with your 24 for 24 list. So remind us first of what your one-word theme was, and then we'll get into your list.
Okay, so my one-word theme in 24 was book, meaning both book, like write a book, and book move fast, because I really wanted to add cardio. We talked about that in a previous episode.
Yes. Okay, well, the first item on your list ties directly into book, which is do Orange Theory 50 times.
Yes, so Orange Theory is a fitness class that I was determined to start doing, and I nailed this, Gretch. Not only have I done it 50 times, I think yesterday was my 61st class.
Wow.
Yes, so I love it, and it's really been incorporated into my life.
Well done. That's a big one, and you nailed it. Number 2, get new sunglasses.
Done.
Good. Number 3, engage more on social media.
You know what? I don't think I've done a great job with that. That's going to be on next year's list, spoiler alert, in a more concrete way. Again,
Yes.
I don't think I had this broken into action items.
Right. It was too much like an aim and not what would that exactly look like. You didn't know exactly what you were expecting yourself to do. Number 4, weigh yourself every day.
Yes, I did that. And Gretchen, I know many people don't want to weigh themselves every day or ever, but for me, it is the most useful thing. I absolutely love it.
Well, that's a good example of knowing yourself, that it might not be something for somebody else, but it works for you.
Yes, and speaking of tendencies, as an obliger, it also really helps me. I then log it on my Happier app.
Oh, good.
It just helps me stay in the groove.
Another book-related item was your number 5, which is to publish the novel or have it in the pipeline.
Gretchen, Sarah and I worked a lot on the novel, made a ton of progress, but we are not anywhere near having it published. So I'd say this is half, because I was hoping we would have sold it by now, but we haven't even finished it.
Well, I would say this is ongoing.
Yes.
So you haven't neglected this. You didn't make as much progress as you'd hoped, but it's in the pipeline in that it's in the pipeline to be written. It's not in the pipeline of publishing. But
Yes, we're in the rewriting phase, and we just got sidelined by a lot of work, but it's there and it's going to happen.
Well, the good news is you've done so much work that you're not going to abandon it. So it's going to happen. Okay. Number 6, write 24 and 24 by keeping your one-sentence journal.
I'd say that was sporadic, intermittent, some good streaks and then forgetting about it and then getting back to it.
Well, and we'll talk about this more when we talk about the challenge for how we did with the 24 for 24 and what's coming up for 2025. So we'll return to that. How did you like the one-sentence journal? This is my journal where you write one sentence a day. Do you like doing that format?
Yes, I love the one-sentence journal. What I think is amazing is how if you write down one sentence, a whole day can come back to you.
Isn't it funny?
It is amazing how just one sentence can capture a day.
Yeah. No, it's really uncanny almost.
Yeah.
Number 7, weekend away with college friends.
Did not do this, Gretchen.
Number 8, weekend away with high school friends.
Did not do this either.
But you did go to your high school reunion.
Well, that's true. So that was a weekend with high school friends.
Yes.
It just wasn't a weekend away.
Yes.
It was away for me because I was in Kansas City, but they
Yes.
were not away, most of them.
And that's kind of a different experience
Yes.
than what you had in mind. It's valuable, but
It's not the straight up girls trip I was thinking of.
this could go on your to-do list because you did reconnect with many, many high school friends in a different context. And that wasn't on your original list, so check that off.
Yeah.
Number 9, get back into therapy.
I haven't done that, Gretchen.
Number 10, walking trip with Gretchen in England.
Yes, we did this. This was one of our crossovers, and that was one of the highlights of the year for sure.
It was a highlight of the year. It was a lot of work and preparation, but totally worth it 100%. We had an amazing sisterly adventure.
Yes.
Then from something quite elaborate and adventurous and special to something extremely mundane, number 11 is put on moisturizer every night. How'd that go for you?
Gretch, I did not do this, but I'm actually formulating a plan can. I think what I need to do is take one of my dry erase circles that I can put on the wall.
Oh, yeah, you gave me these for Christmas last
Yes,
year.
I love these things. And I think what I need to do is write down a whole routine to do at night and put moisturize on it so that, again, the obliger in me has a list of things I'm supposed to do.
Can I suggest a pairing?
Sure.
So one thing you probably really want to do before you go to bed is brush your teeth.
Yes.
That is something that a lot of people can't fall asleep until they brush their teeth. So just say to yourself, I can't brush my teeth until I've put on moisturizer. If I don't want to put on moisturizer, that's fine, but I can't brush my teeth.
Oh, good
that's
idea.
just a pairing.
Okay, good idea.
Number 12, have at least one happier in Hollywood retreat.
Did not do this, Gretch. Got too busy.
Well, it is that pesky Hollywood job that interferes with your 24 for 24 list. Funny how that happens. Number 13, do a Happier in Hollywood newsletter.
Okay, we have not actually published this, but Sarah and I are hard at work on our Substack. So there will be a lot more news about that to come.
Okay, and so people should be on the lookout. Do you have like a sign up URL yet?
Yes, you can go to happierinhollywood.com and sign up for the newsletter, and you will be getting it in the coming weeks.
Whenever that thing launches. Good. I'm very excited. I can vouch that Elizabeth and Sarah have been working hard on this newsletter. I'm very excited for them. Number 14, get Fraxel.
Didn't do that.
Number 15, attain and maintain a milestone weight.
Yes, Gretchen, happy to announce I did that. Again, I know many don't want to focus on a number, but I love focusing on the number, and I did this. So very proud.
Excellent. Number 16, get nachos and Daisy's stamina good enough to hike. That's your 2 corgis.
Yes, I think we're halfway there. Haven't quite gotten there.
Okay. Number 17, go to BravoCon.
Okay, well, Gretch, BravoCon didn't end up happening. Everyone thought it was going to be every year, but I think they're doing it every other year. So I should put it on my list for 25.
So this is just a strikeout because it just literally was not possible for you to do this. So it's not that you didn't do it, it's that it was not possible to attain. Number 18, throw a birthday party for yourself.
Didn't do that, but some other people celebrated me, which was very nice.
Okay, that's good.
But I didn't do it for myself, which is what I said I would do. So,
well, I'm curious to see if this is going to be a repeat. We haven't discussed our 25 for 25, and we've had many, many, many repeats. So I will be curious to see if you repeat this. Number 19, do no spend February with Gretchen.
Yeah, we did that. That was interesting.
Yeah. Gosh, it seems like forever ago, doesn't it?
I know.
It's like, was that 2024?
It's like 5 years ago.
Yeah. Number 20, get to 200 pounds on the leg press.
Did not do that, Gretch.
Number 21, go to 6 sound baths with Adam.
I lost count. I don't know exactly how many we did, but we did do several.
Okay.
That's a great couples activity.
Well, explain what a sound bath is to people who don't know what it is.
Okay, for people who don't know, a sound bath is you lie down, and 1 or 2 people do singing bowls and feathers and gongs, and you're just awash in sound. And for me, it's more relaxing than a massage. For others, they absolutely hate it. Sarah doesn't enjoy the sensation. We heard from someone one time who said she crawled out of the woods to escape a sound bath she was doing at a women's retreat. So it's not for everyone. For me and Adam, we love it.
What's funny, it's a Life in 5 Senses conclusion that I reached is that people are really different.
Yeah.
I love a massage. I do a 3-hour massage, and then other people are just like, God, they don't want them, or they're not interested, or they actively dislike them. So this is a good know yourself better question. Take Daisy and Nacho away for a weekend.
Yes, so I think we did that 2 or 3 times.
Okay, you embrace the traveling with dogs. That's fun. Number 23, decorate for Christmas on or by December 1st.
Well, Gretchen, I haven't decorated yet, and we have past December 1st, but I've done a big task, which is start getting on Adam about getting out the decorations. It's kind of a multi-day process to get him to actually do it. So we are in motion. And also, I ordered stuff I need for Christmas, which I am counting because it's decorative.
Right. Well, you talked on Happier in Hollywood about how ordering early just saves you time and money and energy and worrying when you can't find what you need. So that's important for decorating. That's a step. Again, maybe decorating for Christmas needs to be broken down into multiple things because it's a
Yes,
multi-layer
good point.
undertaking. And then finally, you had a free space. So did you give yourself an assignment for your free space and did you do it?
Yes. So, Gretchen, in my free space, I put accomplishing every hand on the Mahjong card. So, Mahjong
okay.
card has many hands, I think maybe around 50. And I have an online game I play, a computer game.
Right.
And so I haven't finished it yet, but I've done a lot of them. I'm going through and trying to get Mahjong on every single hand. And that really familiarizes me with the hands and is very useful.
I literally cannot understand one thing you're talking about, but it sounds good. It sounds like that's something that's good for your Mahjong journey.
Those who play Mahjong will know exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay. So would you say you did that?
I'm doing it.
You're doing it. It's ongoing. It's like you're actively engaged.
Yes, it takes a long time. So that's my list. Gretch, I feel good about it. I feel like I did the two really big things were Orange Theory and going on a trip with you.
Yes.
And those two were done.
No, and you made a lot of good progress even on ones that you're not properly checking off the list. So yeah, well done.
Yes.
That was a fun list and you accomplished a lot of things you set out to do. Well done.
All right, Gretch, coming up, we're going to go over your list. But first, this break. This holiday season, I want to give a gift to my loved ones that makes them feel special and unique, just like the relationship we share. That's why I'm giving everyone I care about Storyworth. Here's how it works. Each week, Storyworth emails your loved one a thought-provoking question that you get to help pick. Things like, what's the bravest thing you've ever done? Or what's the farthest you've ever traveled? After that year of fun, Storyworth compiles your loved one's stories and photos into a beautiful keepsake hardcover book that you'll be able to share and revisit for generations to come. Gretchen, I have one of these keepsake books from a Storyworth I gave my father-in-law. I have it out on the coffee table. It's something I know Jack will be sharing with his kids someday.
With Storyworth, we're giving those we love most a thoughtful, personal gift from the heart and preserving their memories and stories for years to come. Go to storyworth.com/happier and save $10 on your first purchase. That's storyworth.com/happier to save $10 on your first purchase.
You know how sometimes a meal leaves you energized and other times sluggish, foggy, or even hungrier? That may be your glucose talking. Foods that are sugar and carb heavy, and you know my experience here, cause your body's glucose levels to spike, often followed by a crash. This matters because it turns out 88% of us have suboptimal metabolic health. So glucose could be the next big thing to track when it comes to health. That's why we're excited about Lingo, a new biowearable from Abbott that tracks your glucose in real time.
I've been wearing Lingo for weeks now, and I've learned that for my body, if I move around after I eat a meal, my spike is much more gradual, much lower. And so I've learned that I just need to get up and move around after I eat. What works for me might work very differently for you, but that's what works for my body. To see how your body responds to food and learn what you can do to improve your metabolism, try Lingo. It starts at $49 for a 2-week plan, no prescription needed. For a limited time, save 10% on your first order with Happier at HelloLingo.com.
The Lingo glucose system is for users 18 years and older, not on insulin. It is not intended for diagnosis of diseases, including diabetes. For more information, please visit HelloLingo.com/US. Are you unhappy with your hair and skincare products? Have you experienced dry skin and hair, oil buildup, and needing to use more and more products to achieve the results you want from your hair and skin? It's not your products, it's your water. Culligan water softeners stop hard water at the source, providing softer, cleaner water throughout every faucet in your home. With benefits like softer hair and skin, a longer-lasting clean, and less product waste, Culligan has been making water better for people since 1936. And it's not just your hair and skin. Hard water can cause things like water stains in the bathroom and kitchen.
I had this experience when I was showering at my in-laws' apartment. I thought that there was something wrong with my shampoo, and then I realized that the problem with my hair was actually from the water. Culligan has local water experts in your city and offers a free in-home water test to see if you have hard water and address your water concerns. Go to Culligan.com to schedule a free in-home water test.
Okay, Gretchen, we are back. We're going to talk about your 24 for 24 list. To remind everyone, your one-word theme this year was revisited.
Yeah. And so that was to like redo a happiness project, revisit the past, think through my aims in the past and what I want my aims to be now. That was very thought-provoking. It was interesting. But I think next year I'm going to be more concrete with my one-word theme.
Okay, so number 1, make time for watercolor, including making 12 watercolor postcards.
This, I made the classic mistake, which is that I wasn't specific enough about what I was asking of myself. And I had a bad experience where I signed up for a class where like I spent the money and I cleared off my calendar and I got 2 friends to do it with me. And I had a very bad teacher that made me feel like I just wasted all this time and energy and it got in my head about doing watercolor. And so I'm really excited, spoiler alert, I'm going to do it in 25 for 25, but I'm really breaking it down into multi-parts because this is something I really want to have happen. So I'm really trying to create a lot of ways to make sure that I really stick with it in 2025, really come out of 2025 having done it. So this is, I sort of got my feet wet and then didn't make any more progress with this one.
Okay, so more to come on that.
More to come.
Number 2, plan a milestone wedding anniversary party.
This is underway. It has not happened, but it's underway.
Yes.
Plans are being made, so it's going to happen.
I'm excited for that. Hopefully I'll be able to come.
Yes.
Number 3, create a new quiz.
So excited about this. Quizzes are so intellectually challenging and then hard to design. But there's this question that everybody always asks me, which is, well, if I wanted to just do one thing to be happier, what should I do? And then I always answer with this like annoying, well, it depends on what you want and who you are. And I need to have a long conversation with you. But now you can just take the quiz. If you go to happiercast.com/quiz or gretchenrubin.com/quiz, you can take the quiz. You can also take the 4 tendencies quiz, the gift appreciation quiz, the what's your neglected sense quiz. I need to start thinking about a quiz for 2025 because I love quizzes and I love this habit for happiness quiz because it's not like what should one do to be happier? It's what should you specifically do to be happier? And it's very elegant the way in not very many questions, it really gets each person to their own individual answer.
It really does.
It's
really
kind of
works.
uncanny, people say. So anyway, I'm super proud of that quiz. So that was a big task. I worked with a brilliant team. So that was a big undertaking, I will say.
Yes, that was great. Okay, number 4, watch final season of Succession.
Yes, I did it. I love it. It's funny because of course, it was an enormous pleasure, but for some reason, I was just resisting it. I don't know why. I had loved all the previous seasons, and then I just wasn't watching it. And I knew the more time that passed, the more I would forget it. So I watched it, and I was very happy I watched it.
Yes, and it made you realize from now on you want to do things like that when everybody else is doing them, so you can have the pleasure of discussing it in real time.
In fact, I'm doing that right now with Later Daters.
Good.
I'm like, people are going to be talking about Later Daters. I'm just going to watch Later Daters.
Yet.
It's very charming. And I actually know the person who's the expert, Logan Ury, who's the dating expert. I'm like, I know her. It's so exciting. Anyway, yes.
Okay, number 5, do 48 minutes of review each weekend day.
Yeah, I got to 48 because it's 2 times 24. So that's me having fun with the number 24. For years, I've been trying to do review every day, which is review is a certain kind of demanding research evaluation of sources. It's very idiosyncratic to me. I call it review. And it just wasn't working for me to do it day to day. So I thought, why keep trying the same thing over and over? Let me recast this and do it for longer amounts of time only on the weekends, because I was realizing I just couldn't get it to work during the weekday, because it sort of feels like fun, but it sort of feels like work, and it's sort of boring. But this works much better. So I feel like doing 48 minutes of review is something that really, really works. I got through a lot of material and got it sorted out. So I have been doing that.
Yay. Gold star, because that's been on your mind for a long time.
But it was a good example. If something's not working, don't just keep saying,
right,
oh, something's wrong with me, do it again. Say, how do I need to tweak this so it suits me better? And so the minute I did that, I got much better results.
Okay, number 6, celebrate the 10th anniversary of your children's literature reading group.
This is kind of embarrassing. I had to strike this out because I actually had the date wrong. Because I was thinking, gosh, has it only been 10 years? So then I looked back on it. No, 2025 is the 20th anniversary.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to have the party in 2025
Okay.
for the 20th anniversary. So that was just me writing down the wrong fact.
That's pretty cool. 20 years. That's
It's a
amazing.
huge engine of happiness for me.
Number 7, revisit your newsletters.
Yes. So we had a team theme of converge to try to converge the newsletters because I had a lot of newsletters going on. So it was a big undertaking. And we cleaned them up and clarified them and streamlined them. And now they're just working much better. And a lot of people are signing up. So I think that it's much more appealing for readers too. If you want to sign up, go to gretchenrubin.com/newsletters. It's the 5 things making me happy, which is 5 things making me happy. But I also have 5 tips of things to try. I have 5 things not to miss. It's really fun. And you can tailor it to how you want it. I did revisit the newsletters and I'm much happier with how they're organized now.
Oh, good. Okay, number 8, keep learning and experimenting with AI. Well, I know you've been doing this.
Yes, I have been doing this. And if this is something people are interested in, I highly recommend Ethan Mollick's Substack newsletter called One Useful Thing. I recommend listening to the Hard Fork podcast, which I love. I've been experimenting with all the big ones. I'm experimenting with Notebook LM. I did that thing where you have a document or a bunch of materials and you have it turn into a podcast. I had it explain Tudor England to me in a podcast, which was really fun. So yes, I am continuing to use AI and experiment with AI.
Okay, number 9, no spend February with me.
Yay! We really found that to be very thought-provoking. And it really did change our spending habits for the better.
Number 10, 2+4 adventures, such as the walk in England with me.
Yes, I had 6 adventures of things that I did with friends, with my daughters, with Jamie. It was super fun.
Number 11, Summer of Abraham Lincoln. That was reading about Abraham Lincoln.
Well, I wanted to read about Abraham Lincoln as storyteller because he's this famous joke teller and storyteller, and I wanted to understand that. And I just couldn't find sources that were interesting to me. It's like, at some point in my life, I should learn all about Abraham Lincoln because he's a super fascinating character and lived at such a critical moment of American history. But I didn't want to get into all that. I wanted this very specific thing, and I just couldn't find what I wanted. And so I crossed that off the list. I was like, this isn't the summer of reading that I wanted, so I'm not doing it.
Number 12, have monthly casual dinner parties.
Did not do that. Did not do that.
That is a repeat, I think.
Yes.
So
I'm going to keep repeating it until we do it. Jamie wants to do it too. So we just need to get ourselves organized.
that helps. 13, get a family photo taken in August.
Did not do it.
Okay. Number 14, make a list of 24 things that please me.
This is super fun. I highly recommend doing this. I loved having a place where something that pleases me, I had a place to record it. You feel like you're just paying tribute to the excellent things in the world. Elizabeth, remember when we were in England, I would be like, I love moss and flowers growing out of a stone wall. And then every time there was moss and flowers growing out of a stone wall, you'd be like, look, there's moss and flowers growing out of a stone wall. Or like we're in Kansas City and you're like, look, it's just what you love, moss and flowers growing out of a stone wall. But anyway, so I have this thing. So stay tuned for that because I want to go into it all and talk about why I think this is such a fun thing to do and how it really does help focus our attention on the things that please us. It was an absolutely delightful thing. So I had so much fun doing that.
Very 5 senses.
Very 5 senses. Yes, absolutely.
Number 15, throw a perfume night for your friends.
No, didn't do it. And some of my friends are still like, when are you going to throw that perfume night? Because I've been talking about it.
Gretchen, that'll be your favorite night ever.
know.
You're going to love it so much.
You know what I need to do is I need to start keeping a list of who loves perfume because I was searching my memory. So make a list and then have the party. That'll be a repeat.
16, plan a podcaster gathering.
Did it. So fun. Did that. Yes.
17, catch up on your photo albums.
I did that. Always a huge undertaking. And I'm always so happy that I did it. Yeah.
18, 24 days of policy or commentary.
I did not do that. You know, I had my 30 straight days of culture in 2023, and I love that. And I wanted 24 days of policy or commentary, but I just didn't get it.
Number 19. This is a big one. Plan family trip to Japan.
Yes, this was a whole thing where I thought we couldn't do it, then it ended up. And so, yes, and it was amazing. And I had never been to Japan before, and I loved Japan. So this was an amazing family trip.
20. Draw a Muse Machine card each week. Gretchen, explain what the Muse Machine is.
Okay, so I had collected all these mysterious directions that I would sometimes look at if I was creatively stuck. I would call them like indirect directions. And so it'd be something like expose the architecture of ideas or begin at the end or whatever. And I really found these to be very fun. And so I decided to make a card deck where you could draw these ideas. And so if you didn't know the way forward, and I always think of the great example is I didn't know what to call this thing. It was like a card deck of ideas. That sounded so boring. So I drew a card, or my handwritten cards at this point, because it hadn't been officially made. And the card that I drew was find a fresh metaphor. And then when I was in the Met one day, I saw an inkstand covered with muses. It was like all these statues of Apollo and all the muses. And I was like, well, that's what you need if you're going to be creative. You need an inkstand covered with muses. And I was like, yeah, you need a muse machine. So using the muse machine gave me the idea for the name of the muse machine. And so I would draw a card every week, and it would just put some odd idea in my mind, and then I would just think about it through the week. So it was very creatively stimulating and just kind of intellectually fun. It was just a playful thing to do with my brain.
Yes, I love that.
And I'll link to the Muse Machine if people are interested. It's this very cunning card deck. I think people are really enjoying it. I've heard from people that are using it for creative sparks.
Okay, 21. Find a way to support a cause you believe in.
I joined the board of Giving Tuesday, which is an amazing organization that promotes generosity. And then also the Center for Fiction, because fiction has played such a gigantic role in my own happiness that I want to make sure that other people love reading and writing fiction as much as I do. And it's a terrific organization in Brooklyn. So those are two things that I've done.
Big one. That's a big one.
Yeah.
22. Work outside of your office.
I love working outside my office, meaning get my laptop and work outside my office. Okay, and here's the thing, Elizabeth, you know how it is. I knew it was coming up to do the review of the list, and I did it one time. So I could say I did it one time.
Yes.
But it reminded me how much I like it. So it's going to definitely be a repeat. I just like that feeling of being outside my office, but it's so convenient to work in my office. So I need to just figure out ways to make it part of my routines.
It goes with my realization that I feel like we're all still more impacted by the pandemic than we realize.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, 23, be a matchmaker. Fix up two couples for a date.
I have tried really hard. So I am giving myself credit in that my willingness to follow through was just limited by facts. I just didn't know the people to do this, but I am still committed. I still want to be a matchmaker, but you got to have the people to match, and I didn't have the people to match.
Well, you know, one of my claims to fame is two couples that I introduced are married.
Oh.
Although I didn't do it on purpose, I did introduce them.
You get the gold star either
I get
way.
Credit for that.
Yes.
Okay, finally, Gretchen, 24. Revisited.
Yes.
Do another happiness project.
Yes, I did it again. I did it as part of the course, the Happiness Project Revisited course, which was amazing. I really loved doing that. I learned so much about myself. I went deeper into my happiness. So that was a really great thing to undertake.
Yes, that was great. Sarah did it along with you, and we talked all about it on Happier in Hollywood.
Yes, it was so fun for me to hear about her experience.
Well, Gretchen, I think you did a lot of big things on your list.
Yeah.
I mean, going on the boards, consolidating your newsletter. Yeah. I mean, you did a lot.
We both did a lot. We had great results from our list. We did a lot of things that we wanted to get done. Again, if you want to print out your own list and make it for 2025, you can go to happiercast.com/designyouryear and let us know about if you reviewed your 24 for 24 list and what did you find? Were there any themes and what you did or didn't do? Did you do everything on your list? That's amazing. We've never done everything in our list, listeners, I don't think. Let us know on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Facebook. Drop us an email at podcast@gretchenrubin.com. Or as always, you can go to the show notes. This is happiercast.com/512. The resource for this week is the gift giving quiz for yourself. Okay, so the gift giving quiz was really designed so that if you didn't know what to buy or give to someone else, you could discover their gift type. But what turned out once the quiz escaped into the world is a lot of people will take it to understand themselves better, because when people say, well, what do you want? Because often, Elizabeth, in our family, we're always saying to people, well, tell me what you want, because we will just buy things off a list. So this is also kind of a know yourself better quiz. You can take the quiz with someone else in mind or with yourself in mind. So if that sounds intriguing, you can go to happiercast.com/gift quiz.
Yes, such a fun quiz.
Yeah. And then finally, what are we reading? Elizabeth, what are you reading?
I am in between, Gretch. I am not reading anything right now.
Okay. I am reading Ink Blood Sister Scribe by Emma Turge. And that's it for this episode of Happier. Remember to try this at home. Review your 24 for 24 list. Let us know if you tried it and how it worked for you.
Thanks to our executive producer, Chuck Reed, and everyone at Odyssey. Get in touch. Gretchen's on Instagram, Threads, Facebook, and TikTok at Gretchen Rubin, and I'm on Instagram and Threads at Liz Craft.
And here's your writing reminder. If you like the show, tell others you know.
Until next week, I'm Elizabeth Craft.
And I'm Gretchen Rubin. Thanks for joining us. Onward and upward. So, Elizabeth, have you finished making your 25 for 25 list yet?
No, I think I'm on number 18.
Are you doing a lot of repeats?
You know what? So far, not a lot of repeats. Trying not to.
Interesting.
But I'm sure there'll be a few.
I'm very curious to see what you pick.
Yes, likewise.
From the Onward Project.
The holidays are a time for family, friends, and of course, shipping gifts. But you don't need to stress about it. Turn to the United States Postal Service to handle all your holiday shipping needs. With an enhanced network, USPS serves over 167 million addresses 6 and 7 days a week. And if you're looking for an affordable option, USPS Ground Advantage has you covered.
Reliable shipping with upfront pricing and no hidden costs. So why not take your packages on a true holiday ride this season? Visit USPS.com/holiday ride to start shipping.